Bomani Jones, Kevin Blackstone, Kate Fagan, Jackie McMullen. Hello, ladies. Gentlemen, today, Shield versus Golden Boy and White Collar. Steph versus Grizz and Gravity. Ben versus weak-handled ballers and would-be defenders. Let's go right now. The original play, Ben Franklin, right? Oh, yeah. Put up the numbers. All right, we're in it. There's no getting out, so let's do it. Here's where we are in the world right now. A world where people are approving and applauding and questioning and venting. Old design in the business is if you get people telling you you've gone too far, and you get people telling you haven't gone far enough, you kind of got it just right. So, Bomani, question for you. Did the NFL get it right?
Oh, no. This is crazy. I think the totality of this whole scandal should make us all feel just a little bit ridiculous about what we take seriously and what we go to the mat for. But as it relates specifically to this punishment, there are too many examples of teams being caught doctoring balls with punishments that came nowhere near close to this one for this to be commensurate. San Diego Chargers got fined $20,000 for doctoring balls. The Patriots got docked the #1 pick this year, a 2016, a 4th-round pick in 2017. That's too much. Brady in the 4 games, I get it. The idea that it comes behind the lying, but it's extending it to the Patriots that I thought was a little bit too far when the report kind of said that they did not know what was going on.
So you think $1 million is too much? You think 2 draft picks is too much?
Yes.
KB, how about you?
Oh, I think this was too heavy, way too heavy. I mean, at the end of the day, what you have here is a transgression of an equipment regulation in the NFL, which has resulted in a quarterback losing a quarter of the season. That's outrageous. I mean, Pineda last year had pine tar on a baseball, and he got 10 games. That's 6% of an MLB season. That's what you're talking about here. You're talking about a guy doing 55 in a 45. And imagine you getting hammered like this.
I think the NFL would say they're also talking about a cover-up as well. We had Woody Page in the show. He wanted Brady to be gone for the season, but he says it's the cover-up that catches up with you. You don't agree with that, Kevin?
No.
Kate, how about you?
The problem here is there's nothing to relate it to. I have no relativity. Like, the NFL is like a little mini nation state that just has its regulations and its processes blowing with the wind. So how can we even label something fair when we don't even have a logical process that gets us to an outcome? And when it comes to Brady's 2 games, it's like we can't compare it to Ray Rice's 2 games because it's a completely different environment now. We can't compare it to Greg Hardy. We can't compare it to Bountygate. It's sort of a moving target. I mean, $1 million is nothing. So what we're looking at here is the 1st-round pick and the 4 games. This feels like a negotiating starting point, and it will come down. I think it's going to end up
I
in
think you had
2
to slip there because initially you said 2 games. Do you think it's going to be appealed and chopped down to 2 games?
Right, it's 4 games now, and that seems like a starting point. I think it's going to end up at 2 games.
And Jackie Mack, we read your column. You don't think they got it right. Specifically, what did you take most umbrage with?
Well, I just don't understand, Kate. You talk about the moving parts in the NFL. If I'm Tom Brady, that's a problem for me. If I'm the Patriots, that's a problem for me. As Bomani referenced, there have been other teams that have done things with footballs. You didn't mention also the Minnesota Vikings heating up the balls on the sidelines, and they got fined. There was no suspension there at all. And so you look at Brady, and you're questioning his integrity, okay? This is a league that had a player get suspended for taking a stick to his son, a player who threw his ex-girlfriend on a bed of guns, and you have a player right now, the 63rd pick in the draft by the runner-up, the Seattle Seahawks, who they claimed if he ever struck her, we never would have drafted him, and now we find out more and more from witness after witness that he probably did.
Do you think
so how is
it's dangerous to compare everything like that, though, Jackie?
Well, it may be dangerous to you, but if you're Tom Brady, you're saying, really? So I probably had some general awareness about the PSI of the football, and now you're putting the hammer down on me like no other player in the history of the league?
Let me ask you this. Do you believe his appeal will overturn this? What happens if his appeal overturns this, Jackie?
I do the appeal. I think the appeal will reduce his suspension. I don't know if it'll overturn it completely, but I think there's a chance that could happen. Now, if he takes it to court, that's a whole other problem, Tony, because then he is going to have to turn over those email messages, those text messages, those phone calls that so far he hasn't wanted to do.
Well, that was another thing about all this. It seemed like the NFL was upset that he didn't turn over his phone.
More upset about that.
If they asked every player in the league to turn over their phone, what do you think they would find? Bomani, about the appeal, what happens if this gets overturned? How do you view Brady after that?
Well, I don't think the way I view Brady will be any different. I mean, I feel pretty confident that he did have something to do with messing with the footballs. I just don't think that it's necessarily that big of a deal. So it won't change how I look at Brady. It'll make me look at Goodell, though. Like, you started this fight with Bob Kraft just to have something get overturned?
KB, how does this change your view of Brady? Is there anything to the people who say he should retire now?
No, he shouldn't retire now. First of all, he's got money he's got to recoup, in fact, in case this thing doesn't get overturned. So, no, he shouldn't do that. He's still a great quarterback, one of the greatest we've ever seen. And you know what? He's just like great pitchers who have bent the rules to benefit them, or great hitters who have bent the rules in baseball to benefit them. Absolutely.
It doesn't change anything about how I viewed Brady. I mean, we put him on a pedestal. We called him the golden boy, but anybody who has been involved in sports or pays attention knows that there's always going to be gray area with these guys, and I always saw that with Brady. I mean, he's a part of a franchise that they've been scofflaws all along. Nothing will change about how good of a quarterback he is. Maybe some people saw him as a golden boy, but if you were really paying attention,
you know
never
Brady
knew that
better
was
than
the
anybody here.
reality.
How do you think he's handling this today?
I'm sure he's furious, and I'm sure that after all he's done for the league, and he has done quite a bit in front of the cameras and behind the scenes, he's saying, really? You're choosing me to pick on? And while we're talking about great quarterbacks, what about Aaron Rodgers, who's told everybody he overinflates the football? You going after him now?
Okay. $1 million. $1 million. Kate, you brought this up. $1 million is Dr. Evilly when you consider the team is worth $2 billion. 2 draft picks is 2 draft picks. You guys care a lot about that. I'll say a team without a first-round draft pick, that's just Washington most years. So how does this punishment really damage the Patriots? What is their recourse, Bomani?
Well, I think missing Tom Brady for 4 games, if it rides out that far, we'll see what happens with Jimmy Garoppolo, but this isn't the team they had last year. This team isn't going to have Darrelle Revis. They don't have the pass defense that they had last year, which is what got them to the Super Bowl. So maybe you put Garoppolo in, and maybe it goes like then they had Matt Castle, and they just went 11-5, but that team was coming off going 16-0. Like, this team just isn't that strong. So if they come out 2-2 to start the year, they're in a traditionally weak division in the AFC East, but this could be a difference in where they wind up in the postseason. This matters in terms of football.
That's wins and losses. But also, Kevin, maybe you can answer how the Patriots are responding to this. You saw Kraft yesterday. We showed that real quick. Their Twitter profile from today, it's Tom Brady.
Yeah, well, you know what? They got to respond to the public. Bob Kraft, who's thought of highly in the NFL, has got to respond to the front office. They've got to do everything that they can, but the most important thing they've got to do is respond as a football team and win games. And you know what? We talked about them starting last year. Boy, look at them struggling. They're really gonna miss some players that they let go. And look what happened at the end of the year. And you know what? This is a fuel that they've never had before.
This team certainly has the capability to rally around itself. We've seen this before. Here's another interesting thing about this whole thing. I mean, the Patriots' history with Spygate, that's played into all this. Troy Vincent's statement specifically mentioned that. How will the team rally around it? Because it just seems like, I don't want to overstate this Twitter profile, but it just seems like they're sticking something up at the league.
Listen, they're defiant. I can guarantee you that they're going to rally around this just the way they did before the Super Bowl. It was, all the distractions, everybody talking about all the noise. I think secretly the coaches are like, this is just what we need to circle the wagons and beat a very, very good Seattle team.
And Kate, your view of this all, last year's Super Bowl, previous history factor into all this, does it change how you view the Patriots franchise?
It doesn't change how I view the Patriots at all. And when you talk about the punishment that was handed down, the draft pick and also the 4 games, I bet the Patriots are going to see this as an opportunity. Now they get to see what they have with Garoppolo. If he performs well, they could spend him for a first-round pick. If he doesn't perform well, they know they need to get somebody else to replace Tom Brady.
They can go that far.
I think they're going to see this as an opportunity to evaluate this kid.
I don't think that's an opportunity they were looking for or hoping for. They can do that in preseason. You want Tom Brady in front of your football team.
Brady
but now that
is
you don't have him, you have
for
a
4
chance
games
here.
now. You think maybe it gets appealed down to 2 games. He's still active for the preseason. You think Tom Brady's going to be playing in those preseason games? You think Bill Belichick's going to roll him out there?
I don't think so. Jimmy Garoppolo's going to need some snaps.
Jones 8, McMullen, Fegan 7, Blackistone 5. We've been warm. We're taking a break. Buy or sells next, and coming up, over or under 1 buzzer beater tonight in Bulls Cavaliers. Could be 2. You could get one to force overtime, another one in overtime. I'm excited for this game tonight.
Geico presents Strange Saving Stories. Astronomers detected an interstellar transmission. It stated, Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. The implications were staggering. Was the cosmos telling us we could all save hundreds on car insurance with Geico? Or did their radar merely pick up a signal from the nearby Rufus and Clyde's morning show? We may never know.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Buy or sell.
Hong Kong style is sizzling, Bomani. 8. McMullen and Fag at 7. Blackistone 5. It's buy or sell. That's a dunk. That's a dunk, yeah. Steph's Renaissance. Kerr's clairvoyance to put Bogut on Allen. The Warriors' reclamation of home court. Bomani, all well with the Warriors now with that one defensive adjustment?
Well, I certainly think that it's a good start. It's like every playoff series, somebody wakes up and realizes, oh, that's right, Tony Allen can't shoot. The only thing is the way that they're doing this is by playing Bogut off. You've got to wonder if at some point the Grizzlies are going to try to get Bogut off the floor by hacking him because he can't shoot free throws, and we'll be watching basketball all night.
Or if they're not going to try and get behind him. I mean, it's a risky move. It worked out for one game, but, you know, the potential for opening up the weak side of the paint is there. And the other thing is just getting the big guys with the Grizzlies active again in the paint, which they were not in this last game.
I think this shift is key because, Bo, even if they want to get Bogut off the floor, the Warriors can still put Draymond Green in that spot and allow him to be a roaming defender because this is about not hiding Curry on that, but putting a guy who can disrupt everything. So I think this is key for them.
And Jackie Mack.
Well, it certainly makes sense. They only contested 6 of the 18 three-pointers that the Grizzlies took. That includes Mike Conley, Courtney Lee, and Tony Allen. Here's the thing, though, if I'm the Grizzlies. I'm going at Harrison Barnes because you're asking him to guard Zach Randolph when you put Bogut on Tony Allen. And if I'm the Grizz, I'm trying to go right at that matchup.
The game plan against the game plan. I like the way you think, Jackie Mack. Buy or sell 2 is tonight. How you follow up back-to-back buzzer beaters, back-to-back timeouts that weren't, and the scratch. No pick, no! JB, how will Game 5 be won?
Well, it's going to be won by that guy right there. It's going to be won by LeBron James. I mean, he's got to drag the Cavaliers as far as he can. Kyrie Irving's not right. You know, you're missing other people. So he's got to do it. And people talked about that on this show last week.
Vegas.
That's what he's doing.
You got 2 guys going into this game who don't seem to be limping, LeBron and J.R. Smith. And those are the guys who are going to win this game for the Cavs. J.R. Smith has been hitting big shots. I think he's going to continue to hit big shots. And then you got LeBron at the end. Those 2 guys are going to pull him through.
Jackie Mack.
You know what else you got? LeBron at home. He shot 32%, Tony, on the road in those 2 Bulls games, and they still came away with a split. That's pretty good. But the big thing for me is the game-time decision of Pau Gasol. If he doesn't play, that takes away pick and pop, and they need help scoring, the Bulls do, and it's going to be hard without Gasol.
Gasol plays. You got Chicago winning tonight, though, Jackie?
I don't. I think LeBron is home and is going to have a huge game.
Bomani, how about you?
Well, look, LeBron hasn't played that well in the course of this series, buzzer beater notwithstanding. He was 10 for 30 in the course of that game. The reason that they managed to come back in the fourth quarter, this game will be won or lost by how well J.R. Smith plays, because that's the situation the Cavs are in, depending on J.R. Smith.
Or if the referees see timeouts taken on the sidelines as well. That's another thing that could sway the balance. Rashid Suleiman from Maryland. Terps coach Mark Turgeon said this, quote, "We did our due diligence. We were extremely thorough and talked to a lot of people and vetted the entire situation. I've known Rashid and his family since he was 13, and I believe in him. There's a trust factor, and we have a strong relationship." End quote. What do you think of Turgeon's reasoning, Kate?
I always feel like it's a red flag when we hear guys use phrases like due diligence or we're taking this very seriously. I think when you have actually done your due diligence, you often list what exactly that was. I hope Maryland here, when they say due diligence, they don't just mean talking to the kid and his parents. They mean also going back to Duke and talking to some of the girls who first brought these accusations. I hope that's what they mean by due diligence, because bringing this kid to your campus, you want to make sure you've vetted it completely.
Jackie McMullen?
I couldn't agree more with what Kate is saying. Due diligence means a lot of things, and I hate to keep bringing up the Seahawks, but I'm not sure about their due diligence on their player. I think Maryland, I understand why they did it, Tony. You add him to the mix with Trimble and Jake Layman, and then the recruit, Diamond Stone, the 6'10 kid from Milwaukee. You have a chance to win the national championship with that group.
Bomani Jones.
Well, look, a lot of what Maryland said in that statement was vague. And let's not forget, regardless of why he got kicked off the team at Duke, he did get kicked off the team at Duke on top of adding this. We're here because Maryland thinks he could be the difference on winning a championship. I will tell you this, though. This idea of I've known him since I was 13, therefore I don't think it happened, that's not how the world works. I think a lot of us can tell you we've known a lot of people since we were 13, and it turned out to be something different than we would have expected.
Blackstone?
Well, I don't know how much due diligence Maryland had to do. He was he was accused in a newspaper article. He was not charged. He obviously was not convicted. And they just went through a situation with Des Wells, who was exonerated of similar charges, and have helped that man get back on his feet. They've also handed out an arm to Damon Evans, who lost his job as AD at Georgia. So this has turned into a program that has given people second chances, and I think Rashida's due one right here.
Blackstone should be said you are at the University of Maryland.
And right, that is, and whether I was here or not, that would not change the opinion I just gave you about this situation.
Okay. 10 points means you're the next to go. Wave goodbye, Professor. Bomani Jones, Kent Hagan, Jackie McMullen. Lightning round is next. Coming up, it'll be the Rockets with their back against the wall, answering tough questions. Look at your man right there. Hood. Max Man, and Starks. Lightning quick in the lightning round. For the Rockets, how do you follow up a game you've already broken? It's as simple as just being the team that they were all year long, maybe, and not muck it up with intentional fouls. Bomani, how does Houston get back in the series?
Well, one thing, maybe, just maybe, play a little bit of defense because they've ceased doing this through the course of the series. The other part is they're going to have to hold themselves together. Dwight Howard seemed to be coming apart, and as much as we like to clown Dwight, he has been a very good postseason performer throughout his career. Him losing his composure like that's a bad sign.
Package strategy thrown out completely, though?
I mean, it ain't helping.
Kate, how about you?
Yeah, I think the Rockets just got to play basketball tonight, but I'm of the mindset that this is the Clippers series. They cleared a hurdle when they played the Spurs, and I think they're off and running. I think they win this game no matter what the Rockets do tonight.
McMullen?
Well, the Rockets, one thing they should do is get the ball back into James Harden's hands. Aside from the hack-a-shack strategy, they also took the ball out of Harden's hands. He needs the ball in his hands to get their offense right in the way it is again, and Bomani's right. You need a lot more than from Dwight Howard.
Well, Dwight Howard, like you said, has a postseason history where he's got some numbers. James Harden's not as much. We'll move on. Lightning 2, NBA news of the afternoon. Pelicans firing Monty Williams. This, after a season they made the playoffs, Kate, makes sense of this move for us.
Look, it does make sense. This guy was 173 and 221 in his tenure, and we're in this space now in the NBA where you saw what the Warriors did. They upgraded even when they were winning basketball. This is where we are now. Franchises are going to upgrade even when they make the playoffs.
Do you believe New Orleans is in a Golden State-like position where they can make a jump to legit contender next year?
I think they're 2-3 years away, but I think they want a coach who they can pair with Davis,
Jackie,
and I don't think they have that.
Well, I mean, I think they had a spiritual coach to pair with Davis. They have a great relationship with Monty Williams. But you're right. They're in a position, I think, very similar to Scotty Brooks in OKC. It wasn't what happened this year. It wasn't what happened in the postseason. It's the cumulative effort of the work.
How about you?
And this is when they make a change.
Had they missed the playoffs, Dale Demps and Monty Williams would have gotten fired. They made the playoffs. That doesn't mean that Dale Demps is going to sit around and let Monty Williams get them both fired next year. That's what this move is. If they're going to have a chance, it's just not going to be with Monty Williams.
Do you think this team's also on the precipice, like Kate was saying?
I don't know if they're on the precipice of a championship, but you've got one of the 3 best players in the league, and they've got an all-star in Drew Holiday and other scattered pretty good players. They should be better than they are.
That horn came in quick, Bomani. That means those words were your last words. And it's Fagan and McMullen in showdown next. And straight ahead, whoever sold John Wall that suit has a great sense of humor.
ESPN Radio, bringing you directly to the biggest events in sports.
Center field, well hit, Hunter back, out of here!
From opening day of baseball,
throw to the plate, safe at the plate,
right through the World Series.
For the 3rd time in 5 seasons, the San Francisco Giants are the champions of the baseball world.
Whether it's LeBron, Chris Paul, or Kevin Durant, when the NBA tips off, ESPN Radio is right there when a champion is crowned.
We have a new world champion. The San Antonio Spurs are the world champions.
And when the magic of bowl season arrives, ESPN Radio is your home for the new college football playoff.
The college football playoff first national champion, the Ohio State Buckeyes.
The biggest events in sports can be found right here on ESPN Radio.
It's showdown. It's Fagan and McMullen, and it's John Wall's drapery, which got much chatter and a call out from J.R. Smith, noted to the air and quality decision maker. Kate, did John Wall deserve J.R. Smith's grief for his suit?
No, I think John Wall needs to do John Wall. I also don't think I should judge fashion choices, considering I went out for coffee this morning in like mesh shorts and a hoodie. But that suit was all kinds of wrong, okay?
Well, you know, it's the red pants. I get that, solidarity with the boys. But what was the other part? Butler, waiter, going to the laundromat, put on your sister's sweater. What?
Sometimes you need to go to the laundromat. I mean, Jackie, I kind of dug the suit. I'll give you both the point, but I kind of dug the suit. We'll move on. Showdown 2. Ball and Ben. This is the Sixers' new secondary logo. Jackie, does it need to be the primary logo?
Man, I am all about this. First of all, Benjamin Franklin is a lefty. Do you see how big his mitt's in? And he looks like Christopher Lloyd in Back to the Future. Hey, Marty, come here. I think you're open.
All right, I love Ball and Ben, but maybe I love Ball and Ben so much because when I was covering the Sixers, they tried to create a new mascot, and the options were a dog and also a moose. Like, what says Philly better than a moose? So I love Ball and Ben.
Two good answers. This is perfect for when they become Benjamin Tanklin and they start losing games next year. Fagan for FaceTime.
Right now on ESPNW, we have a story called Split Image. It is about Madison Holleran, a Penn runner who died by suicide. Madison's family was willing to share her story because they want to end the stigma around mental health. They cannot make Madison whole again, but they want to keep other kids from falling apart. And in that spirit, I want to pass along this message. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to show people that you are not okay. Rest in love, Madison.
Kate, I have to tell you, tremendous piece, so gutting. I wasn't actually prepared for it when I first read it. I didn't know what Life Unfiltered meant and what that ESPNW is doing with the images we have on our social media and how it doesn't reflect who we are. Totally gutting, but also very important, very informative, and it can change lives. Thank you very much, Kate Fagan.
Thanks, Tony.
That's going to do it, folks, on the 23.5-hour break. We'll see you tomorrow around the clock.
Two of baseball's best go head-to-head in interleague action when the Tigers head to St. Louis to face the Cardinals.
That one is gone.
The pregame at 7 Eastern, first pitch at 8, Sunday on ESPN and ESPN Radio.